documents that expose that information. Now we have more information, which is revealing that Antony Blinken not only knew prior to that, but also that apparently Netanyahu has decided to snitch a little bit and reveal even more information. And I got to tell you, it does not look good for Antony Blinken. The evidence is definitely against him. The evidence is not on his side. That is for certain. And then there, of course, is this call for Antony Blinken to resign. I also think that Antony Blinken should be arrested for war crimes. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, this particular clip here is a press conference. This is from Dropsite News. When asked about Dropsite's report that Secretary Antony Blinken approved Israeli policy to bomb humanitarian trucks if seized by Hamas, the State Department spokesperson Matt Miller maintained the U.S. had not explicitly signed off on bombing convoys. So let's go ahead and get into this here. You guys have seen this journalist before. I want to get started with this, and then we're going to get into that damning article, which reveals a lot of information. Again, like I said, Netanyahu is snitching. He is, but you know what? Netanyahu was like, look, it's weird because it's like he's such a corrupt, evil, genocidal maniac. But at the same time, Netanyahu is making a statement that, oh, no, Antony Blinken, you're not going to let this all be pushed on me. I'm going to tell people about you as well. So it is not a good look for Antony Blinken. Listen to what Matt Miller has to say to this question here.
Let me ask you about a report in Dropsite. And it says that Secretary Blinken approved a policy to bomb 8 trucks. That's what an Israeli cabinet member said. Are you aware of this report, and do you have any comment on it?
I am aware of the report, and I'm glad you asked me about it. Look, the suggestion that we
very damning towards the U.S. government. And I want to go ahead and bring this up on the screen. Everyone needs to see this. Blinken approved policy to bomb aid trucks. Israeli cabinet member suggests. So I want to read this again, just so we all understand. Blinken approved policy to bomb aid trucks. Israeli cabinet members suggest. So this is not coming from the journalist themselves. This information is coming from the Israeli cabinet. So let's continue on here. So you see, this is what happens when you continue to try to defend and cover up for a genocidal apartheid state because you have the monetary ties to the Israeli lobby, because you are locked in to their donors. This is what happens. Because you want Israel to exist, not because you necessarily care about the Israelis, but because you have particular interests in the resources that are in that area. We got to be very clear about this. Now, here is Antony Blinken walking right next to Benjamin Netanyahu. So let's get into this information that was uncovered by Dropsite News. I believe this is Ryan Grimm's news site here. So listen to this. From the very beginning of Israel's assault on the Gaza Strip, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken had his hands on the steering wheel. After October 7th, Blinken was the first senior U.S. official to arrive in Israel on October 11th. I'm going with a very simple and clear message that the U.S. has Israel's back, Blinken reportedly said before he boarded the plane. He returned again days later. This time, Blinken was there to demand that Israel rethink its decision to bomb any humanitarian aid entering Gaza and impose a total siege on the Strip. Let me say this again. This time, Blinken was there to demand that Israel rethink its decision to bomb any humanitarian aid entering Gaza and impose a total siege on the Strip. In exchange, US President Joe Biden offered to visit Israel himself. Reportedly, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu explained to Antony Blinken upon his arrival on October 16th. Let's highlight this date. I hate how Substack does that. I have got people in my cabinet who don't want an aspirin to get into Gaza because of what has happened. Let's do this again. Benjamin Netanyahu explained to Antony Blinken upon his arrival on October 16th last year, I have got people in the cabinet who don't want